The late autumn calm of Mexico City has been broken by diplomatic tension. Outside the sleek concrete walls of the Israeli embassy, police sirens echo faintly down a sealed street. Blue lights flash against the embassy's white facade. It's an ordinary neighborhood turned into the stage of an extraordinary allegation, one that now sits at the intersection of three nations' politics: the United States, Israel, and Iran. According to Washington and Tel Aviv, an assassination plot was in motion, one targeting Israel's ambassador to Mexico. The claim first reported by U.S. intelligence sources and later confirmed by Israeli officials, alleges that an Iranian-linked network had planned the attack on Mexican soil. Tehran, however, has categorically rejected the charge, calling it, in its own words, a big lie. As the story spread across international headlines, camera crews rushed to three distinct corners of the city, the embassies of Israel, Iran, and the United States, now symbols of a geopolitical drama unfolding far from the Middle East. Outside the Israeli embassy, uniformed officers form a perimeter, their patrol cars blocking nearby lanes. The building itself is calm, almost silent, but the tension is unmistakable. Pedestrians pause, glance at the flags above the compound, and move on quickly, aware that this quiet street has suddenly become a security zone. Officials have said little in public. Israeli diplomatic staff have not issued formal comments, and Mexico's foreign ministry has confirmed only that it is coordinating with all parties to maintain security and assess the credibility of the alleged plot. Inside the embassy, the Israeli flag flies at full height, a symbol of defiance amid a swirl of accusation and denial. For the United States, the statement came fast and forceful. A spokesperson for the U.S. State Department said Washington stood by Israel's account, describing the alleged plan as part of a pattern of malign activities by the Iranian regime. The remark was intended to show unity, but it also drew immediate protest from Tehran. At the Iranian embassy, traffic continues to pass outside its gate, but the atmosphere is taut. The green, white and red of Iran's flag ripple faintly in the breeze. Local police have increased patrols around the perimeter, not because of protests, but out of precaution. A brass plaque at the entrance reads simply, Embajada de la República Islámica de Irán. Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson quickly responded from Tehran, calling the accusations baseless and politically motivated. He said the United States and Israel were attempting to divert attention from their failures in Gaza and the region. The statement, broadcast on Iranian state media, accused Washington of spreading disinformation and manipulating Mexico's position for its own strategic aims. Meanwhile, in Washington, intelligence analysts briefed reporters off the record, claiming that intercepted communications pointed to what they described as an operational cell linked to the Quds Force, the external operations wing of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. No evidence was publicly released, and neither the Mexican government nor the Embassy of Israel provided documentation to substantiate the claim. Inside Mexico, the reaction has been measured but uneasy. Security experts note that Mexico City, a diplomatic hub with more than 80 embassies, is no stranger to surveillance and foreign intelligence activity. But an alleged plot of this scale, if confirmed, would mark one of the most serious international incidents on Mexican soil in decades. In the capital's press rooms, journalists debate whether the incident reflects an expanding shadow war between Israel and Iran, one that has already spanned from Europe to Latin America. Analysts recall previous cases in 2012 when alleged Iranian agents were accused of plotting attacks against Israeli diplomats in Georgia and India, and more recently in 2023 when European authorities disrupted what they described as an Iranian-backed network targeting dissidents abroad. In this sense, the events in Mexico City fit into a broader pattern, one where intelligence, ideology and revenge intertwine across continents. At the U.S. Embassy, another scene unfolds. The complex is heavily fortified, with American flags fluttering over tall beige walls. Inside, diplomats move quickly between meetings, while local police coordinate outside, keeping a watchful eye on passing vehicles. The embassy has issued no statement beyond reaffirming Washington's full confidence in Israeli intelligence findings. American officials have privately described Mexico's cooperation as excellent, emphasizing that both nations share a deep counterterrorism partnership dating back to the early 2000s. Yet within Mexico's political circles, some lawmakers are urging caution, warning that unverified allegations could pull the country into foreign rivalries it did not choose. Mexico's president has not commented directly on the case, but his office released a brief statement saying that Mexico rejects any form of violence or foreign interference within its borders. Behind the scenes, government sources confirmed that intelligence sharing between Mexico and both the United States and Israel has intensified in the past week. The Israeli ambassador, the alleged target of the plot, has not appeared publicly since the accusation surfaced. His office has neither confirmed nor denied that security protocols have been raised. But embassy staff are reportedly operating under heightened alert, with reinforced surveillance and restricted movement. Across Mexico City, the images are stark police cordons around the Israeli compound, quiet vigilance around the Iranian embassy, and diplomatic vehicles entering and exiting the U.S. facility. Each building, in its own way, tells a part of the same story, the uneasy intersection of diplomacy and danger. International reaction has been mixed. European Union officials have urged restraint, while the United Nations spokesperson said the organization had no independent information and called on all parties to avoid escalating rhetoric. In Tehran, Iranian lawmakers denounced the claim as psychological warfare. In Jerusalem, an Israeli cabinet minister said that Iran's denials were predictable and that the regime is once again caught in its own game of deception. The Mexican press, meanwhile, has focused on the implications for its neutrality. Mexico traditionally maintains diplomatic relations with both Israel and Iran, an unusual balance in the Western Hemisphere. The accusation now places it in a delicate position, forced to balance security cooperation with Washington against its commitment to diplomatic independence. Behind closed doors, Mexican intelligence services are conducting their own review. Sources within the Secretariat of National Defense say no arrests have been made and that no credible operational threat has been verified so far. However, surveillance footage and digital evidence from the Capitol security grid are under analysis. For many observers, the case is less about whether an assassination plot existed and more about how such an allegation reverberates in an already polarized global environment. In an age of hybrid warfare, even a rumor can alter alliances, trigger sanctions, or ignite online disinformation campaigns. Iranian analysts argue that Washington's accusation may serve multiple purposes, pressuring Tehran ahead of renewed nuclear negotiations and reinforcing US-Israeli unity after months of tension over Gaza. They also point out that Iran has been expanding outreach to Latin America, including Venezuela, Bolivia, and Mexico, as part of a broader diplomatic diversification strategy. To them, the timing of the accusation seems politically convenient. On the other side, Israeli officials contend that the threat is real part of what they describe as Iran's global terror apparatus. They note that Israeli intelligence has foiled multiple plots abroad in recent years, some involving Latin American networks. To Jerusalem, the Mexico case is proof that Tehran continues to use foreign soil as a base for covert operations. Between these competing narratives lies Mexico, a country caught between great powers, where embassies now stand as front lines of invisible wars. As evening falls, the sealed streets of Mexico City begin to reopen. Police barriers are moved aside and traffic slowly returns to normal. The cameras pull back, showing the skyline, a mix of modern glass towers and colonial facades glowing under the fading light. But beneath the calm unease lingers. For Mexico's security services, the question remains unresolved. Was this a credible threat or a geopolitical maneuver crafted thousands of miles away? For now, diplomacy continues cautiously, quietly, and under the watch of three flags fluttering in the same city, yet representing three very different worlds.